Hello folks, I thought I'd just share with you some of my recent paintings, drawings. Some of you, a lot of you have probably already seen them on Facebook, on my groups, but some of you probably haven't. I'm hoping you can see this alright. So we've got the tiger, the squirrel, jaguar. These are some of the earlier ones from about August time. Tiger there. Oh. And that's the cheetah cub. That's me wolves. These have all been drawn with mostly with a Faber-Castell pit pens. Can you see the squirrel? I did the squirrel in about 6 different mediums, so you can see that one's a bit hard to see. That's done in pastel on a dark pastel paper. I've got the lion, and we're coming on to some of the recent ones, what I've done last week. So we've got the robin and the hare. The harvest mouse and the chimp. I did that last night. So that's all what's in there. And you may be wondering what I've been doing with these. I've been making greeting cards. So they've simply got my image on the front with a few words for whatever you choose, the person chooses. I've got an Etsy store, and I've got them on my website, which is www.juliedrakesart.co.uk. The very latest ones from the last few days aren't on there yet. So we've got things like that. That's what I've just started doing. I don't know if I've put one on the Etsy store. Certainly haven't on my website yet, because all the others are A6. But this, I've got a thicker card for these because it's bigger. You can see the squirrel. Well, we'll have on. Oh, this was a prototype because I was still setting it up. But the writing, what goes on the back, is simply my name, my web address, copyright, and commissions considered. It's blank inside. And we've got all these, you know, like we've got the hare. We've got some robins. There's a few more hares there. And we've got squirrels. So the default wording, what I tend to put on is just to say, because somebody recommended that, because that can cover a multitude of different uses. But I'm prepared to put anything what person wants on, and the options are there on my Etsy store to choose. We've got, you know, the squirrels, cats. These are the earlier ones, what I did earlier in the year. Kingfishers. Basically everything what I've just shown you. You know, we've got the tigers and the jaguars and the lions. I've got some of the flowers, the poppies. So you have to try these opportunities. Well, you know, unless you try, you'll never get to figure out what's happening. And in case you're wondering about my drawings, I transfer an outline onto my whatever surface I'm using. I've basically gone onto a Faber-Castell sketch pad, and because I've drawn up, I did about 10 different ones what I did in it. I've torn each one out. But one thing you need to be careful is, you've got to be very careful with these, because just the slightest crease mark will show up on these scans. So then you have to digitally touch it up. But anyway, and also there's when you scan this, although it feels really smooth, you know, it's not bad at all. It does pick up on the grain, and there is a very slight colour difference to the white paper what I actually print on. So it does show up. So I have to be careful with that. There's quite a bit of manipulating to go on, but basically, I'll get the image what I want transferred, and all I have is the basic lines. So I make sure I've got the eyes in and the ears and everything. But as far as the fur goes, there's just a few guidelines so I know the direction, and then everything else is just on my eyesight, you know. And for instance, on this one, this is one what I've got from my a friend online who's a photographer, Neelis. And what I basically do whenever I always do a printout. I mean, I work from the screen as well, but sometimes I might want to be away from the computer. So I always do a printout, and I put where I've got the reference from. So when I'm actually posting on Facebook and that they get a reference properly. And that's the one what I think I'm going to be doing next. So yeah, hopefully I may, believe it or not, I can, something like that would, I'll get it done in the afternoon, hopefully. We'll see. I really do love working with these pens. I'm just looking at my hair. It needs washed, doesn't it? It's a bit messy. I've had a sweat on as well, cooking the goulash for dinner, and I must go in there and check on that. So that's basically, folks, what I'll get up to when I'm not gardening. If you're watching this and you follow my gardening, that's what interests you most. If you haven't picked up on it, the community project has now got official council backing. That doesn't mean financial or anything. It just means that they're there for the project, and they're going to help when we need. If we get stuck with anything, they'll help, and they've provided us with the land. Going to put a fence up for us. We're not going to go for a secure fence because apparently that area doesn't need it, but we'll have to see. We've been introduced to some of the locals, and that was really good. We've got really good vibes, and hopefully, you know, we'll fit in, and we'll get a lot of support from there. So that's it, folks. That's the little update. After I've done the dinner, I've got to go and look after the hens. Some of you may know, some of you may not. There's actually a 1 month. You've got to keep them under control for a month because of this bird flu what's in Europe. Although it's not here yet, precautions have to be taken. So thankfully my hens are under cover. I've got tarpaulin over the top, so if any bird things drop, bird poos drop, it's going to avoid the hens. However, I've got to be careful, do my best not to get them coming out into the little run, you know, the little lawn and that, because if we have got wild birds who are infected with this bird flu, they can then they can spread the disease with their poos onto the grass. So if they happen to drop one and the hens came out, they could then catch it from there. So basically we've got to keep them under control, and we've got to we've got to stand in disinfectant water and that when we come in and out of the enclosure, so we're not spreading it. So yeah, so it's all bit of a pain, but it has to be done. Let's just hope it doesn't get into this country, because that's going to cause all sorts of problems for people like myself, because it's not an easy task getting into the run when your hens are all want to try and dash out. So and it's not fair on them to be locked up, but I don't know, because obviously if it does get in, I mean, and as it is at the minute, I don't believe that you can actually sell any. They have to stay where they are. You can't move them around. So, and certainly if the disease gets in, then that's it. You know, you can't, if you wanted to sell your hens or whatever, you wouldn't be able to. So there's all these things to think about when you're looking after things. Okay then, folks, that's it. We're up to 10 minutes. Bye-bye.